All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some profit today. So one of the things that I know that I have a privilege through the years of really masterminding with a lot of really top agents in the world, really frankly, and a lot of what I've heard through time in conversations has been focused on either gross commissions or sales. So if you guys ever had conversations with somebody that's focused on gross commissions, could be units. So gross commissions, sales volumes, or units, right? It's going to be one of those three things typically. Would you guys agree with that? All right. So if it's going to be, if the conversation is going to be, how much did you sell last year? How many units did you sell last year? How much money did you make? Gross commissions last year. What's the primary component, which is probably the most important, that's missing from that? Right. And so what was your profit being the missing component of that? It's odd how in an industry of high achievers, when I'm talking about high achievers, I'm talking about those people that are boasting about $100 million in volume, that are boasting about 100 transactions, that are boasting about $1 million in gross commissions. Now, I acknowledge those individuals. I admire those individuals, and I think what they're doing is fantastic. What really, at the end of the day, is that profit number really is what we want to focus on. Would you guys agree with that? All right. So when you start your sales career, I know that you probably, and some of us are starting our sales career right now. So whether if you're just starting your sales career, you started it years ago, or somewhere in between. Sure. All right. So when you look at and I'm not being critical, right? But you look at there's lots of coaching programs in the industry. Buffini, Mike Ferry, et cetera. And I may be wrong about this, and maybe they teach profit in those because I've never gone through those coaching programs. I went through a Floyd Whitman coaching program once. I've gone through a lot of coaching programs within my brokerage and that are offered with a coaching company affiliated with my brokerage. Yet, what I don't hear a lot in a lot of the coaching programs is about being a business owner. What I don't hear about is how can you take your time and your effort and actually study how to be a business person as well as a salesperson. Okay. Because we go back to that choice. Sometimes we're not making the choice because we don't have the knowledge. Okay. Sometimes we don't understand that learning about business takes a skill, the same as learning about sales takes a skill. And sometimes those skills overlap and sometimes those skills diverge. Okay, so I'll give you an example of that. When you're building an organization, I think I shared this with you before, but when you're looking at the foundation of a business, it's going to be about lead generation. Well, it's going to be personal development. And then on top of personal development, it's going to be lead generation. And then on top of lead generation is going to be organization building. And then on top of organization building is going to be leadership. That organization building piece right there, a lot of the traits that allows for you to be successful in sales. So that's the lead generation. And allows for you to be successful in leadership. That's the leadership, which is teaching other people how to think so that they can receive what they want, so they can obtain their goals. A lot of the traits that you use to be successful in those two areas are contradicting to the traits that you use to build an organization. For example, the competitive spirit. When you're competitive and you want to win and you're hiring, and ABC Realty down the road is also talking to that individual. I've fallen into this trap more than once. I won't again. And you sit there and say, well, they're not going to hire this person, right? Because it's like that competitive spirit kicks in, which is the same spirit that allows for you to be successful in sales. Do you guys see how those same traits can conflict in different areas of your business? My recommendation is for you to not just master sales, for you to also master to be a student of business. Learn how to ask better questions, okay? Because when you learn how to ask better questions, you'll be a better business owner. You'll make better decisions. So one of the things that we have to understand is that today, as real estate agents, we're making less money than we were 5 years ago per transaction. Okay. And so with that, we're not going to get into commissions here, right? Specifically yet. We're going to talk about commoditization here in the next section of evolution. And what we'll talk about there is the fact that commissions have gone down over the last 5 years as a general in the industry. So if that's the truth, and it is, then we have to be able to make more sales to be able to have the same level of income. Now, we have to be able to make more sales to make the same level of income. The tricky part to that rather, is that sometimes if we're marketing for sales, you're going to have to spend more money or be more strategic and more effective in the marketing budget that you use. Sometimes if you're having people to support you, you're going to have more people to support you to do more sales. And be able to do that, then you're going to have to be smart and strategic as well, which we talked about the other day, last week when we were talking about virtual assistants. So since we have less revenue, or we have to do more transactions for the same amount of revenue to make a profit, I want to share with you some very simple strategies that I'm going to really suggest that you employ. I went to a convention my second year in business, and I sat behind this gentleman, and I just was eavesdropping on him. His name's Louis Alpazar, and Louis Alpazar became my first coach. And the first thing that Louis said to me on day one of our coaching, the first day I have a real estate sales agent coach, and the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, "Let me see your books." I was like, "What? Let me see your what?" Okay. I didn't have any books at the time. And so Louis smartly coached me into hiring a bookkeeper. And I would suggest to you that it is one of the best decisions that you can make would be to hire a bookkeeper if you do not already have one. I want you to write this down. So number one is hire a bookkeeper. Number two, if you don't already have this, open up a business bank account. Those are two real simple things that you can do. And then when you open up that business bank account, 100% of your money goes into that business bank account. And then from that business bank account, it goes elsewhere. And we'll talk about where it goes from there. All right. So number one, hire a bookkeeper. You can do so virtually. There's a company in Arizona that I use called Streamline Solutions. They're in Arizona, and they do a fantastic job, very reasonable in regards to their cost, and they understand the real estate model system, the real estate models of what we do. So second thing right there, have your business account separated from your personal account. And then what I would suggest, and this is the trick that changed me into being able to be comfortable with the way that I manage my money, was I actually, and I whittled it down to 4 accounts for the demonstrations. I think I have 6 or 7 accounts. I've got to reserve some other accounts that I'm not going to go through here, right? I'm just going to go through like real simple: business account, personal account, profit account, tax account. I actually have those bank accounts. In fact, I have another 3. There's 4 or 7 different bank accounts that I would recommend that you use. And then from that, what I do is I put a small amount that's a percentage into my profit account. All right. Now, what I'd recommend into that profit account, depending on where you are in your business, I would recommend 3 to 5% to start. And then at the beginning of every quarter, so I get to spend some money on October 1st here coming up, that profit account, half of it can get distributed to you to spend however you want to spend it. And every quarter you take a look at that profit account to see if you reallocate the percentages. Okay. Second account is your tax account. And your tax account, if you're a solo agent, you're going to put 33% into that tax account. If you're running a team, you're going to start at 33% and it will scale down to as low as 20%. And the reason why a team owner would have a less percentage is because we're doing this based off the gross number and you're paying your taxes based off the net number. 3 to 5% in your profit account, 33% initially into your tax account, and then the rest of the money is going to go into your business account. So right now you've got about 38% at a maximum and about 25% at minimum going into the other two accounts. So now you've got 75 to whatever percent left going into your business account. And then you pay yourself a salary from that business account to your personal account. And it's that simple. So when I started to employ that methodology, I never had to worry about writing a tax check again. I never had to worry about paying myself again because my deposit account is been able to fill up. So I don't have to worry about November coming this year because I've got enough money in that bank account, the business account, to pay me personally December and January this year. Okay, because we have a seasonal business. We have a seasonal cycle.
Hey,
now I don't
Dan,
believe in the seasonal cycle. Yes, go ahead.
when you're paying yourself a salary, do you have to pay taxes on that salary?
Yeah, it depends on how you set it up. I do. So I'm a W-2 employee of myself.
Okay, but
Or
going
of
back to
my business.
your example, because I'm a sole practitioner So I would put 33% into the tax account. And if I have enough to pay myself a salary, then I also have to pay taxes on that salary in addition to the 33%.
You'd have to talk to your accountant on it. Basically, the way that I run it is I'm paying my taxes when I pay myself, like a paycheck, the same way as if you're employee as a W-2 employee.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm paying myself a paycheck, and the taxes are getting taken out right there. And then separately, the business has to pay taxes as well. The business is the business. I'm an employee of the business. All right, there's different ways that you could probably structure that, and you probably should talk to your CPA on that. You could work with your broker, and your broker could probably allocate the different money that goes into different buckets. All right, now I have another account, which is my investment account. It's a no-look account. I don't look at that account ever unless if I'm making an investment. And all the passive income that I receive from, because I have different investments in business ownerships and things. And some of you have revenue share, some of you have profit share, whatever the case may be. That's all passive income that goes into a reserve, into a investment account for me. And so that's another thing that you can consider, because if you want to build your wealth, then having available cash to build your wealth would be a smart thing. And by the way, if you're thinking about what's going to happen in our economy over the next year, as a result of what's happened over the last 6 months, you might be considering to stack some cash right now if you're available to do so, because there's going to be businesses that are good businesses that are going to need money a year from now. There's real estate that is good real estate that's going to be on sale a year from now. And if you position yourself today to be able to take advantage, or I don't want to say take advantage, if you position yourself today to be able to benefit from that opportunity and to be able to invest in somebody else so that they can also receive something that they're going to need at that time, then you would be able to position yourself to be able to potentially become an investor into a business, potentially become an investor into real estate. And that's one of the things that I'm personally doing is I'm communicating with everybody in my world to say, hey, look, what business person do you know right now that has a good business, that's been in business for more than 5 years, that needs capital? And I'm communicating that to the world. Not as much as I want. 6 months from now, I'm going to be communicating that a lot more. Okay. But you set your criteria. For me, they got to be in business for 5 years. Okay. Because they have to be a stable business, minus, what's just going through our economy. But I'm going off a little tangent here. All right. Number 5, pay estimated taxes each quarter from your tax account. So that, or each month. So I pay my state taxes monthly, and I pay my IRS, the federal taxes, quarterly. And so that should be just automatically set up as a like every single month or quarter, set it up so that you can you get the money out there to pay your taxes. And now you're not going to worry about having a big tax bill at the end of the year. Has anybody here, and it's something you probably don't hear about too much, but has anybody here heard of another real estate agent that got themselves in big tax trouble?
Yeah, this other guy I know had a really tough time a few years back.
Sounds like a guy I know. Okay. That played out exactly the way I thought it was going to play out. Yeah, there's a guy I know. Yeah. All right. So pay yourself a regular salary from your business account to your personal account, and don't change that salary. Don't change that salary, right? Unless but whatever you put in for that salary, you have to be confident you're going to be able to sustain it. All right. So take a look at your bills. And if you can't sustain that money, guess what you got to do? Get rid of Netflix. Get rid of the pods, the coffee pods, and brew a pot. I didn't even start at Starbucks. I started at the pods in your house, right? We already got rid of Starbucks. I've made more money from coronavirus from not going to Starbucks. And, that's my upside of what we're going through right now. But if you're not able to sustain that personally, take a look at your personal money first before you look at your business money. Celebrate beginning of each quarter. We just talked about that. And in your business account, you want to save 3 to 5 months of money for your bills. Okay. So that would be if you are actually running a business, if you have virtual assistants, if you have marketing, whatever the case may be, you sit there and you say, how much money do I need to save? How much money do I need to spend each month? Hopefully you've already gotten a bookkeeper, so you know what that number is. That's why you need a bookkeeper. So now you know what the number is every single month. Now save 3 to 5 months in that business account. And when you have 3 to 5 months in that business account, now you can reallocate the percentages. Okay, so now you reallocate the percentages where you can put more into your profit if that's what you choose. Or if you choose like me to do an investment account, you can put more into that.